Have you ever looked at something like ChatGPT and just thought, how? How does a simple idea turn into this incredibly powerful AI? Well, it might seem like magic, but there's actually a really clear engineering roadmap behind it. So let's pull back the curtain and see exactly how these things get built. So what is that roadmap really? How do you go from a blank screen to an intelligent agent that can write code, whip up articles, or even create stunning images from scratch? That's the blueprint we're going to walk through step by step. You know, every great project starts with a core concept, that initial creative spark. And right now, in the world of AI, that spark is almost always something called generative AI. We've got to get our heads around this first before we can build anything. To put it simply, generative AI isn't just about analyzing data that already exists. It's about creating brand new, totally original stuff. It learns all these patterns from a gigantic pile of training data, and then it uses that knowledge to generate something completely new. Could be text, an image, or even a piece of music. And I love this analogy because it just makes so much sense. Imagine an AI that's read, I don't know, every single book about cats ever written. It doesn't just memorize the facts, it starts to understand the vibe of a cat story. So when you ask it to write a new one, it can. It's become a creative expert, not just a glorified search engine. This chart, perfectly shows the difference. A traditional or discriminative model is kind of like a judge. It looks at something and makes a decision, like answering the question, is this a cat or a dog? But a generative model, it's an artist. It takes a command like generate a picture of a cat and makes something that didn't exist a second ago. So it really boils down to this: creation versus classification. Okay, so we've got our creative spark. We know we want to generate something new, but how do we actually turn that idea into a real working product? Well, let's look at the engineering blueprint. This is the standard pipeline that pretty much everyone follows. So every professional AI project is going to follow these basic steps. First, you've got to acquire the data. Then you clean it all up and prepare it. Feature engineering sounds fancy, but it's really about turning that data into a format the model can understand, like turning words into numbers. Then you get to the core part, the modeling. After that, you test it like crazy to see if it actually works. And finally, you get it out there for people to use and keep an eye on how it's doing. It's a very structured, very repeatable process. Now, right in the heart of that modeling step, you'll find the engine that powers this entire blueprint. And it's an incredibly powerful and versatile one, the large language model, or LLM. And this is what makes modern AI such a game changer. Think about it. In the past, you'd need a different, specially trained model for every single one of these tasks. One for translation, a separate one for summarizing text, another for analyzing sentiment. But now, a single powerful LLM can do it all. That's a massive leap in efficiency in what these things are capable of. Okay, but here's the next big question, right? An LLM is brilliant, but it's basically a brain in a jar. It lives inside a computer. So how does this powerful brain actually connect to the outside world? How can it interact with your files or check your calendar or use any other software tool? It needs a plug. And that's exactly where MCP comes in. It is the solution to that connection problem. The best way to think about it is as a universal adapter that lets the AI engine talk to, well, everything else. This quote is just perfect. It nails the idea. You know how USB-C became the one standard port to connect your charger, your monitor, your hard drive, everything? MCP wants to be that for AI. One single protocol to connect any model to any tool. So officially, it's the Model Context Protocol. It's an open standard that lets applications show an LLM what tools it has available and gives it the context it needs to actually use them. It's the wiring that turns a theoretical model into a practical agent that can get stuff done. And for the developers out there, this is where it gets really practical. Depending on your goal, you just choose the right type of MCP integration. Want to let a service like OpenAI call a public tool? You'd use a hosted server. Need to connect to your own company's servers? A streamable HTTP server is the way to go. And if you're just running something on your own machine, you can use Studio. It gives you a clear set of options for pretty much any scenario. So let's zoom back out and put all these pieces together. Let's look at the complete journey from that first flicker of an idea to a fully connected AI application that can actually interact with the world. This is the whole builder's journey, right here. It all starts with that creative spark of generative AI. That idea gets turned into reality by following the structured step-by-step engineering pipeline. The whole thing is powered by that ridiculously versatile engine, the LLM. And finally, you connect it to real-world tools using the standard wiring of MCP. You see how each piece just builds right on top of the last? So there you have it. The magic is gone, but in its place is something way more powerful. The actual blueprint that developers are using to build the AI tools that are shaping our world. The only question left is, now that you have it, what are you going to build? Thanks for joining me.